Ghana. And this is my Gold Coast, now called Ghana. Gateway to Africa, gateway to the world. My dear Ghana, sweet, sweet Ghana, set her free, free from the vulture. Ghana, oh Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah Ghana. Ghana, oh Ghana, Black Star Line. Ghana, oh Ghana, Dinga Sise Ghana. Ghana, oh Ghana, Asian Kingdom Ghana. Well, I'm a critic of my own Ghana. I criticize my own people, and as I keep saying on my show, Paul, I don't criticize to destroy, I criticize to build. See? I speak the voice of the people. And when I criticize Ghana, I'm only looking at how Ghana can be a better country. So in this song, I am coming all out to say that, listen, I am Ghanaian and I'm so proud. And I'm tracing the history of Ghana from the ancient Ghana Empire when Dinga Sise was at the helm of affairs, all the way down to when the Ghana Kingdom fell. And we had people like Kwame Nkrumah coming in the modern Ghana. So this is what the song is talking about. And I am on a tour of these schools where I sing these songs to them, trying to instill in them the discipline of patriotism. And they love this song because it has melodies that are quite traditional.
And here again, the film is very good. This is Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum I'm seeing.
Yes.
That's where you shot it from.
Yeah, this is actually the Atamil's mausoleum, if you may call it. I don't want to call it a graveyard.
Okay.
Yes. So we have everywhere in Ghana. This is Paul Kofi.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of the greatest, patrons that we had. He was actually Ghanaian. He was born somewhere in 1757. Wow. In those times. Yes, he came long before Marcus Garvey, Paul Kofi. And what he did, Paul, you will never believe it. He was so rich. In fact, he wanted to bring black people back. Rasta would say forward to Africa. He owned a ship. And at the time, a black man dared not own a ship. He was from Massachusetts. And they had to pull him all the way to the White House to explain how he came by the money to buy a ship and own one. Paul Kofi.
Now I understand why you said he came before Marcus Garvey.
Yes, he did.
Oh.
He did.
So who did he engage with when he was in Ghana, Paul Kofi? Who did he interact with? Was it businessmen? Was it chiefs? Who did he interact with?
He never came to Ghana. He never was able to make it to Ghana. But of course, at that time, there was no Ghana. In the 1700s. I mean, he was born as a slave. I mean, he had an Akan name. Paul Kofi. You see?
He didn't lose his name in this, you've seen the famous film Kunta Kinte, where they beat them.
Yes.
So he didn't lose his name?
No. I mean, he never lost his name, but he changed the spelling of the Kofi.
Oh, I see.
His mother was Akan, and his father was also all the way from this part of the land. He had also some Cherokee, underpinnings and all that.
Oh, I see.
So this Paul Kofi guy, at a point, even built a whole mansion where people from Africa, especially this part, today called the Gold Coast, could come and live if they were stranded.
How did he come by so much money?
He was good. He started off by being a carpenter. Then he became a wood lumber, just like Pa Grant. And then he made his money out of carpentry and the logging of wood. He made so much money, he shocked white people in the days. So when we are looking at the Back to Africa movement, and I'm glad you have a lot of these wonderful books here and a lot of African personalities here, all over Fela and Miriam Makeba and then Mandela and the rest. The Back to Africa movement didn't start with Marcus Garvey. In fact, it started with people like Otuba Kugwanu, who came from Ejumakun right here. He was born in 1757. Yes, 200 years before Ghana's independence. That guy, do you know that Ghana never celebrated this guy, Paul? And it's sad that he was a boy.
But Black Rasta, then I'm going to take you into some of the controversies.
Right.
We have been talking about Founders Day forever.
Good.
And you people shout on us that when we say Founders Day, Nkrumah is the founder of Ghana, full stop. These are the kinds of people we are talking about. You have been talking about more Asians. Look at Nico Abnaboni. Nico Abnaboni was in Osu. Right. He sat down one day and said, look, we'll not allow these people to cheat us. I need to organize a demonstration against the prices. Let me go and see the big men. In those days, I said, I can't do demonstration. Let me go and see the big men. Went to see the big men who are wearing suits. He told JB Nankwa that, JB, we have to do a demonstration. Right. So let me call Nkrumah and ask him. He said, Nkrumah said, hey, that's correct.
Yes.
Action is correct.
Yeah.
Then the action was taken. And then everything followed after that. What shall we do with Nico Abnaboni? Is he not the founder of Ghana?
The prophet is the prophet. It's not about who paved the way for the prophet. Kwame Nkrumah came in. Of course, he fed on the energies of those who came before him. John the Baptist did not want to take the credit. he gave it out to Jesus Christ. So all the people who came only paved the way for the man who stood on the rostrum on the final day and said, the independence of Ghana is meaningless. We crown him and we give him that. It doesn't mean we should disrespect the others. I mean, all
that's
other
why
countries,
we have one day for him alone. 21st September is for Nkrumah only.
And it's celebrated where?
In Ghana.
21st September.
Yes, it's a holiday. Kwame Nkrumah's Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Professor Mills instituted it.
Yes.
As Kwame Nkrumah's
but
Memorial
not
Day.
the Founders Day.
Then we added Founders Day 6th August for all the rest.
Yes.
Including Nkrumah. But 21st September is set aside for only one man, Kwame Nkrumah's Day. Because as you say, he was the prophet that emerged and made the pronouncement and took us to the promised land.
Yes.
Yes.
But interestingly, Paul, you see, we're talking about the founder of Ghana.
Yes.
All these other people we're talking about were not Ghanaians. They were either from the Gold Coast. I mean, no, at that time there was no Ghana. Akuffo-Addo was in the Gold Coast.
Yes, all of them. Nkrumah too.
Yes, Nkrumah was in the Gold Coast, but he led us into Ghana. And he chose the name Ghana for us.
No, they say Dankwa chose the name.
Dankwa couldn't have chosen that name for us because if you read the history, you will realize that in 1948, when Nkrumah built that school, right there
Ghana
in Cape
National
Coast, Ghana National, he named it Ghana.
Yes.
Was it Dankwa who told him to name it Ghana?
Yes, Dankwa had chosen the name in 38.
Okay.
Way back. When he had researched and found out that there was some empire and so and if this is the name, then as we achieve independence, we have that name. But that is a matter of history.
Yeah.
But so Nkrumah, yes, has a big place or the biggest place.
Yeah.
Should we ignore Akuffo-Addo?
We shouldn't. I don't think that we should ignore them,
So
but we should have
days for them.
no. We should have a place for them instead of calling them founders.
Okay.
Every country has heroes. We could
So,
say
Heroes Day.
Like in Zimbabwe.
we
have the Heroes Acre.
Oh, the word
say,
founders
found-
suggests something.
It's like
So Heroes
saying
Day.
Messiah. Heroes Day.
I get it. So
That's
we
what
are
I
getting somewhere.
That's what I think.
Okay, let's go to the next song. Thief President.
Thief President. Thief President, why you thief so? Thief man, why you thief so? The people they must suffer, but you don't care so. Thief man, why you thief so? I see the people crying every day, oh. They want food, them can't find. I see the youth crying every day, oh. They want jobs, them can't find. Mr. President, him just barely full, oh. In a main family, them no suffer, oh. Suffer, the poor man they suffer, oh. Suffer, rich man no they suffer, lie. See them a come, them coming like an angel, but they my thief, them no say they my thief. Mr. President, you coming like your savior, but you are thief. You no say you are thief. Thief President, why you thieving so? Thief man, why you thief so? That's what the song is talking about. And I love it because
It's talking about corruption.
Basically.
In high places.
A lot of people want Black Rasta to point at a particular thief from a particular
That's what I
country.
thought. I was going to come to that.
There are so many such thieves. When you go to Cameroon, there's one such big old thief there.
Paul
and
Biya.
he's called Paul Biya. Unfortunately, in Cameroon, just by speaking the English language, you could get shot. So they want to break away from the rest of Cameroon and call themselves Ambazonians. You know, there's a whole history to that as well. When you go to such other places like Equatorial Guinea, where Mbasogo Nguema is, you realize that thievery is their middle name, Paul. There are so many such people. The other day, they wanted me to compare Nana Akuffo-Addo to these people. I said, bad as we could be, these are the great-grandfathers of corruption and thievery.
But it's because they don't have institutions.
It's terrible.
They don't have any institutions in their country.
It's so terrible.
So we have to build more institutions and make the institutions stronger. That way, even if somebody wants to steal, he will not be able to.
For real.
Yeah, so I think, but that's a good song. That's a good song to create the awareness for the African youth.
For real.
That makes sure that, but you didn't write any song about elections. It's election this year.
Election year. In fact, on a new album, we have a song called Put Down the Arms. Put Down the Arms. We say, we want peace. And it's talking about peace. And it's talking about the Mampusi and the Kusasi. And I'm asking them, do you think it's by chance your names end in C? Kusasi, Mampusi. Is it by chance? Is it by chance we have Dagomba, Kokomba? And these are the people who are picking arms against each
I hope
other.
they're not fighting there anymore.
Well, I mean,
In
Kusasi, in Boku, there are still
Some
I mean,
skirmishes.
simmerings, yes, going on. And we are praying that those things end. And People are doing politics with this. Oh, when I come into power, I'll make sure that that fighting stops. This party doesn't know how to deal with that. This was what Nkrumah did at the beginning. That has made the place a war zone. I love the people there, and I think that these are some of the things we can do to tell the people that, listen, we love you.
What did Nkrumah do? He divided them?
What Nkrumah did at the time was almost like picking up one side and saying that, okay, so this is the side. These are the people that I believe own the land. And these are the people we are going to recognize.
Maybe that's what he was told.
That was what he was told.
By the CPP people who were from that side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because of that, there was that kind of partisanship. Okay, Nkrumah CPP. Okay, so
the other one.
UP, we are going to take that. So depending on who comes into power, there's one side that says our government is in power. And for that matter, I don't want to mention the ethnicities because it inflames some of these things. But that is what is happening in that area. And I think that we need to have a bigger.
So what are you doing with this? When are you launching the songs? How? What can we buy the tape? Can we stream online? How do we get it?
Saraga Soldier is out. It's about a month old. And I'm happy to tell you, Paul, that it is the biggest one-drop album in the world right now.
Oh,
one-drop reggae album.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
It's 20 tracks. You know, these days they just make singles and EPs. We went into the studio and made a whole 20-track album, all recorded live, no computer. All the horns blown live. In fact, on some songs, we even had 4 different horns: flugel horn, the saxophone, the trombone, and the trumpet, all playing to give us that horn.
Are you a musician? I mean, can we consider you as part of showbiz?
I like that. I know what you're
Are you like
that.
Shatawale, Medical, Stoneboy?
I want to see myself
Savage,
as somebody in my own class. Because when you think that I'm a musician, you just come to realize that this is more of an activist than a musician who is actively trying to go some way with his music. Because my music has never been commercial. It's the poetry, like even the Obama song. I never expected that it would be a hit. I just sang a kindergarten melody. Mama, mama, come make we talk about Barack Obama. Every child can sing this. And then I injected it with my poetry. Originally stepping from outer country Africa, blah, 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 boom, 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 boom. And then the people said they loved it and it became big. But this album has a number of commercial tracks. There's a track on it called, track 15, it's called Barber Shop, and it features Jamaica's reggae legend, Anthony B. It's the biggest one-drop reggae song in the world right now, as we say. Just 1 month of release. We were in Nigeria last 2 weeks, and everywhere you drop it, it's like Boko Haram has dropped a bomb. People are running helter-skelter. There was a gentleman who even told me he dropped it in his house and a dead body woke up. I mean, to crack some joke, and we all started laughing. This is how powerful the song is. Called Barbershop. Paul, the song is called Barbershop.
That's good.
Rastaman don't go in a barber shop. Rastaman don't sit in a barber chair. To my combi and trim me. Shevy and kotti. Banga and bogo yaga. Carry go and bring come. Too much watch it. No natty. Koki no kali. That is what the chorus is saying. When you look at it superficially, you might think that, oh, this is a song that's talking about the barber. Yes, the barber. But I'm trying to say that in every successful man's life, there's a barber. Now, your hair represents your glory. And the barber is there to cut off that glory. Samson's barber was Delilah. Jesus Christ's barber was Judas. Paul's barber might be somebody else.
Everyone has a barber.
Everybody has a barber. That is what the song is talking about.
What do you do with them? How do you treat them?
In fact, I pray them off. I go out there and
you pray?
I chant them off.
So your religion is Rastafarianism?
My religion is love, honestly. My religion is love. I'm not religious one bit.
Are you not a Rastafarian?
I'm not religious. In fact, you see, when you put labels on us, Rasta, Muslim, Christian, then you are slapping some kind of religiousness on us. I think that religion is only a conduit pipe to spirituality. So I stay away from being put labels on like Jesus Christ did. For me, Christ was the most radical man who ever walked the earth. He came down, pulling down all the structures of Moses, and the people say, hey, you are destroying the laws of Moses. No, sir, how could I have done that? I am just fulfilling this. In the days when you stood on one hill to pray for God to listen to you, those days are gone. Now you can stand on every other hill and you pray, and God is going to listen to whatever you say. That is my hero. My calling is not a calling of the church, neither is it a calling of the mosque. It's a calling for the ghetto. Like Christ said, I was called for the sick, like the doctor. So I go to the ghetto and I look at the drug addicts. I look at the people who are downtrodden in the society, and I talk to them and give them words of wisdom. Christ said, the words I speak to you are a spirit. So when I speak to them, I let them feel the spiritual nature of what I'm saying.
Do you read Christ in the New Testament?
Do I, sorry?
Read Christ.
Yes,
in the New Testament.
I do.
You do?
Yes. And
so what is your understanding of Israel?
Well, I mean, Israel. In fact, I will look at it in two ways. The Israelites and the Israelis. Israel, oh yes, is a very beautiful piece of land talked about in the Bible. The people who had Israel at the time were called the Israelites. Today we have Israelis. In fact, these are people. I spoke with the Israeli ambassador the other time, and she gave me a whole history about the whole area and all that. But I think that Israel, as it stands right now, there's supposed to be peace amongst the Israelis and the Palestinians. The Palestinians inhabited the place. Today, look at the goriness happening in the area, all because of, oh, this is my land. People are dying left, right, and center. I don't think this is the conversation right now. The conversation is...
Israel for you is the Israelites.
Israelites, yes.
Not the Israelis.
Not the Israelis, no.
1948.
These are modern day saints. The ancient Israelis, if are Israelites who walk the earth, these are the people I'm talking about. These are people who have come from elsewhere. I spoke with the Israeli
But their
ambassador.
descendants are still here.
The
Descendants of David are here.
Yes.
Descendants of Jacob, they are in Israel.
You are a descendant of David, just like me.
How do I know that?
We are, because if you look at the history, what is the history? The Ghana people will tell you that, oh, they came all the way from Israel.
Yes,
and when you look at their traditions and all that, they are synonymous with what was done in ancient Israel.
Correct.
The Dagomba people will tell you. Recently, I discovered some history, and I realized that the Dagomba people were actually from the land where Osama bin Laden was born. Today, if I go and say, they'll crucify me and say that I'm speaking gibberish. Same thing I said some years back, that Bob Marley was from Kumanting, right here in Ghana.
In Eastern
Kumanting,
region.
right here, yes.
Eastern region.
Not Eastern region, this central region, Kumanting.
Oh, that's where the slave thing
Yes.
happened. How did you connect Bob Marley to
Good.
Kumanting?
I mean, when you read the histories and the autobiographies of, some of these wonderful people, like Bob Marley's mother, she wrote a whole autobiography. Rita Marley wrote one and all that. You realize that the great-grandfather of Bob Marley and even the grandfather, Omariah Malcolm, was talking about when they used to be in Africa, a place called Kumanting, but he spelt it another way. And he was even talking about some herbs that they couldn't find in Jamaica that could only be found in Kumanting. When I said this, years back,
That's interesting.
they wanted to crucify me till Rita Marley came here and said, yes, Kumanting for life, and we are going to build a museum there. We need to pick up these histories and celebrate our people properly. I think tourism in this country.
So Ghanaians can begin to
top.
feel that Bob Marley is Ghanaian.
Exactly. He was.
Is that why Rita Marley sort of lives here?
Exactly. Rita decided to come and live here because of this history, and she was my close friend. She built that studio there.
In Eburi?
Eburi,
I've
yes.
seen it, yeah.
She gave me a piece of land in front of her house and told me, Black Rasta, you want to wake up and see your face every morning.
What does that mean?
Oh, I want to wake up and see your face every morning. Every morning, sorry.
Okay.
You see, that's what she said, and gave me a piece of land, see, in front of her house.
And that's where you live?
Well, I've left it there to follow. After some time, some land guys came in. You know, she no longer lives in Ghana, and wanted to show muscles. I said, well, keep it. And I left it there. You see.
I see.
So Bob Marley's wife came here to live because of that history. And she still loves that history. She's always talking about Ghana. She could have gone to Ethiopia, which is supposed to be the pilgrimage destination for every Rasta. But she decided to come and live in Ghana. You see, a lot of the patois words we have are Ghanaian words.
So what's the connection with... just tell me that. Patois words, Ghanaian words.
Yes.
Show me that.
Like, when you go to Jamaica, kola nut, they call it bisi. He's from Bising.
Oh, that's correct.
Oh, yes. They say Bisi. This is Bising. And they say Imabafan.
Somebody told me
yes,
the black Jews in Israel who would never come on television, but they are there.
They are there.
They're black.
Yes.
He went there and he was shocked.
Yes.
The word for beautiful is Yefe.
Yes, that is
and
correct.
He was amazed.
It's 100% correct. I mean, I was in Israel and I went to Dimona and all those other places. I saw some of them with my eyes. You know, in Jamaica they tell you Ima Bafan. That means it's a cripple. Bafine in Chi. Bafine. You know,
oh, I see.
Yes, in Jamaica. I mean, when we feel pain in Ghana, I say, hey, Jay. In Jamaica, they say, Wayo. Wayo is a word for pain. And this is from the Dagomba.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. When you are chasing a Dagomba man and he feels like he's stretched, say, Wayo, Wayo, Wayo. That's what Bob Marley put in his song. Wayo, Wayo. That's it. This is not comedy. It's history. It's true. You see, but when you say these things, people look at you like, oh, you've gone to smoke some herbs, so your head is turning upside down. But these are the things. Jamaican people connect with Ghana more than any other nation, not even Ethiopia.
But even the name Jamaica, as legend has it, that it's a tree word. That when they were sailing and the ship stopped, you know, the law in America changed, so they asked them to remain where they are. That's how they ended up there. And they were speaking to themselves in Akan and said, why are we no longer going? They said, Jamaica. Jamaica. And then came the name Jamaica.
I heard that.
So should African governments set money aside for research to be able to connect the African roots? That's something we never do.
Oh my God.
Americans spend a lot of money on research.
Yes.
Should we be doing that? Should the universities be doing that and building? Somebody said there are 300 words that mean the same in Yoruba and in Ghana. I have on my own been discovering words that mean the same in Ghana and in Chi.
Right.
Because we look at the Ghana people in Accra and the Chi people in Kumasi, and we think they are very distinct. But when a child is born in Ghana, they say Utirinkwa. When a child is born in Akan, they say Utirinkwa.
Wow.
So you have to know that these two people are connected historically.
Yes.
Let's go as far back as we can
to
find out how the split came.
Exactly.
That will unite our people better and will help Africa to be able to move forward better.
That's why it's even more sad in the north. In fact, almost everybody in the north comes from one great-grandfather.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. When you look at the history, the Dagombes, the Kokombes, the Mampusis, the Kusasis, from one great backbone. But they are fighting it, and they know it. They know their languages are so connected. Paul, if you speak Dagmani, you can go to every part of the north and understand a bit of every other language here in the north. Yet the people are not united.
Because the politicians have gone into
it.
Why do you call them politicians?
Well, I think that they are full of tricks. That's what I think. So
what is your concept of democracy?
It's just about winning elections.
Nothing more.
Nothing more. People just coming in and all they are thinking about is winning elections. They are not really thinking about the welfare of the people. If we had our governments thinking about how the people's welfare could be improved, rather than thinking about winning the next election, when they reserve every other project for election year, then they keep all the money for election year so they can bribe people left, right, and center. And I'm not saying this for one particular party. You see, that's what it is all over Africa. We continue to be in this downward spiral so bad. We are not moving forward.
Do we need a revolution?
We need one. In fact, we need one. We need more honest people who will say that, listen, I'm working with a boss who's corrupt, and for that matter, I don't want to be part of this. I am working with a government that is corrupt. I do not want to be part of this government. I'm refusing to take any bribe, no matter how hungry I am. I am going to continue to remain patriotic to my nation, no matter what. In fact, today I was reading about a young boy who just got his Dutch citizenship, and he's celebrating it on social media, and he's saying, bye-bye, Ghana, I don't want to be with you anymore. I felt sad as a Pan-Africanist. Looking at the history of Pan-Africanism, how it started, in fact, it's in somewhere 1900 and beyond. I listened to this guy and I wept. When are we going to wear back our cloak of patriotism? When are we all going to sit back and say, yes, the country is going bad, but we still belong to this nation? We still would stand and demand accountability from our leaders. We will take off our glasses of partisanship and look at it with one Ghana eye. That is what I've been looking for all this while. But it looks like we have greedy politicians who buy the army in a lot of these African countries, like Paul Biya has done, and they are strangulating the people, and the army still stands strong because, yes, I'm satisfied. My brother can go to hell. It's unfortunate. We are witnessing that in so many different African countries. And Paul, I don't think this is
So what's the solution?
The solution is very simple: patriotism. Somebody asked me, if you ever became president, what would you do? I said, I will not build no schools. I will not build no hospitals. I will not build no roads. I'm going to build patriotism. How would you do that? We have roads, we have hospitals, we have all these things already. Let's maintain them for the time being. Instill in the Ghanaian the common sense of patriotism. Let him get to know that when he sees his national flag, that is his nation. Wherever his nation is mentioned, he must stand totally from the treble all the way down to the base to support his nation, like the Americans and the British do. That is how we will be able to make our nation grow, or else, Paul, you agree with me that even if God becomes president of Ghana today, and I said, God, let him build all the schools in Ghana and build all the roads, we will steal traffic lights because we are not patriotic. When we steal from the government, we all think that, oh, yeah, the government is some non-entity hanging somewhere in Mars. Like the Fantis would say, Abanejuma, Onswa, Ocho.
What does that mean?
Oh, it means the government work, you don't carry it on your head. It's too heavy. Drag it on the floor. Not even pull it. Say drag it. Abanejuma, Onswa, Ocho. That's what the Fantis say.
Yeah.
And it's a proverb every Fanti knows.
And they ask you, is a job for your father?
They ask you the job
Why
is for
you
your
say
father.
after 5 o'clock is a job for your father?
Look at this beautiful edifice. You'll be shocked that there are people here who are stealing microphones to go and build their own YouTube channels. You'll be shocked that there are people here who are stealing cameras. There are people here who are just here for the salary. Even if that corner is burning, they don't care. It's for the fireman to come and put it off. Hey, if here is dirty, a Zoom lion will come and deal with that. That is not patriotism. I'm looking at how the nation will be better. Selfless people who will come out and say, yes, I'm poor, but I'm not going to steal to be rich. Yes, I am poor. I'm going to get rich legally. That is what I'm looking for. Paul.
And you hope that we can get there?
Oh, yes.
With voting every 4 years? Or we have to change something? Or we have to have a new leader? We have to go and find a leader and anoint him? Or we have to change the constitution and stop voting every 4 years? Or we have to have a president who is a prime minister so that he can be changed every year if we want? What's the solution?
Yes, I think that the constitution needs to be tweaked here and there. We need to look at that. I mean, people are advocating that. I think I agree with that. There are too many powers for the president. That's what I personally think. And I think that if we have a president who appoints the chief justice, he appoints who, and who, including the electoral commissioner. Hey. For me, I think
the referee of the election that the president may participate.
Exactly. We need to look at some of these things so we can have a better nation. Let's have a better debate. Let's have the country move forward. Yes, the elections every 4 years. But I think that we should be able to be empowered to impeach bad leaders. Like we have happening in America every now and then. Trump is going to court. When would we have a Ghanaian leader go to court? When will we have an African leader go to court? It looks like they are protecting each other. It's your time to loot. Feel free and do it. But because I sit back and I watch the opposition mentioning milliards of corrupt deals that the incumbent is doing. They come into power and not a cockroach is prosecuted. I feel sad. Did you hoodwink us into this? What really was it? We need to look at some of these things because I feel sad, Paul. When I'm going to bed and I see my little children lying down there, in fact, sometimes I kneel down quietly before them and I apologize to them in the spirit for bringing them forth. They are going to inherit the same corrupt system. They are going to inherit these same corrupt regimes. You see, I want to do everything I can to see a better regime, a better country, so they can also be proud and say that, yes, this is my country, Ghana.
I've been asking all the questions. Maybe it's time for you to ask me questions. But before then, let's see what people are saying about the conversation so far with Black Rasta. It's still Good Evening Ghana, a very different kind of Good Evening Ghana. Tonight, if you just join us, Black Rasta has been giving us a good lecture. We're enjoying the interview. He talked about his album. Where can people find it?
Yeah, good. The album is on all the digital shops. In fact, you can find the digital platforms across, the internet. iTunes everywhere. It's called Salaga Soldier. And
Soldier.
Salaga Soldier, yes. And Salaga, is a small town in the northwest. Slavery was rife. I'm just dedicating this album to those who fought against slavery. People think that Africans just sold each other into slavery, but there were people who fought against slavery. So this album is a dedication.
So Salaga Soldier.
Yeah.
There are 20 songs, including Sodom and Gomorrah, My Dear President, My Dear Ghana, and Thief President.
Yeah.
Look for those. I'll be tuning in to listen. Black Rasta, you're going to be very rich. You're going to get 1 billion people streaming. You're going to be very
wow.
rich. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And in fact, I wanted to say this at the beginning. I want to thank you so much for accepting to have me. I mean, we've had differences, as you said. We might not agree with this, we might not agree with that. But I have watched you from afar for a very long time. I think that you have moved from one step to the other. I'm not talking about the quality. Of course, the quality has increased and all that. But I think that you have given me the opportunity to come and be able to sit with you.
I'll come to that. So they can ask me and I'll explain.
Yeah, man.
Before then, let's start from Emanuela. What are people saying?
It seems everyone is very, very intrigued by the conversation that is happening. Ola Mensa says, Mr. Paul, please, I want to know, what if a different person other than Dr. Nkrumah won the elections, which was held before independence, would that person would then be known as the founder of Ghana? This one is from Michael Yeboah. He says, watching from London, Paul, big up to Rasta as well, more history. This one is also from Rafik. He says, the work or music of Black Rasta needs to be studied in Ghanaian universities, especially courses related to African tourism, African tradition, and African music. Important to note that I disagree with him in respect to religion, though. That is quite interesting to know. And this one is from Kwabna. He says, true Black Rasta, patriotism at its best. And this one is also from Malik. He says, you guys already made my day. I love this so much.
We have Nisaki saying, please ask Black Rasta, that the Barack Obama song that made him so popular, how does he feel about Obama being the spearhead of the LGBTQ legislation in the US? We have Jonah saying, oh, Paul, Black Rasta again. Black Rasta gained a lot of respect from me. He is very smart and full of wisdom. Nyoko is saying, Black Rasta is doing a good job. He is taking the image of Ghana high with his brands. God bless you. We also have Bennett saying, good evening, Paul Adomotri. Kindly tell Black Rasta that what he said on Hits FM today about authenticity of the Bible is very deep, and ask him to repeat that again on Good Evening Ghana. Okay, Fatih.
Alright, so Kweku Mensa here says, so amongst them no place Rasta can't go, more fire. Mohammed Sheku says, the king of history set the record straight, Heroes Day, not Founders Day. Wilson also says, splendid suggestion. I fully agree with Black Rasta. The name should have been Heroes Day. Ola Mensa Kwame also says, well, I don't know how one man can be a founder of a nation. Even the small family is founded by a man and a woman. That is two people. Mohammed Tawfiq says, I'm not a fan of Rastafarians, but I like Black Rasta. He is very intelligent. Also coming from Jonah Alan Kachi says, oh, Paul, today Black Rasta gained a lot of respect from me. He's very smart. And lastly, coming from Okujete, he says, I'm really enjoying this show. Keep it up. Back to you, Paul.
Okay, yes, Black Rasta. Now now let's build the point.
Yes.
Now your turn.
Yes.
You were talking about how the show, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've watched you and I've never hidden my admiration for your, journalism skills. I've said it time and again. Yeah, despite the few disagreements, which I would say would be considered very normal. And for allowing us to come into your studios, your backyard. To be able to jaw. I think that is a beautiful thing. I would say thank you so much, especially at the time that I've also released an album. In fact, when I released the album, I said, listen, I want to be on Paul Adomotri's show. Yes, please.
What is Caleb doing in London, your producer?
Caleb is going to school. In fact, he is in school.
I thought he was there watching the Shatawale and medical
No,
event.
he's doing his second master's, actually.
Oh, I see.
Yes, that's where he is.
Ghana for Mama Dada yo. Me the dear number. Dada spices I would run in every just so. And you never know yeah.
If we come your job away, no use dead spices. We don't go job. If I don't feel
Fish day inside. Yeah, the natural spices, Papa Pana.
Noodles everywhere you go, dead spices.
Just the
one. No more dead spices.
Taste na chicken.
Kaji go. But dead spices here what Jenny say. Nanya good taste. If we say yeah the natural spices and I yeah Ghana hey Annie you want all purpose stew, noodles, curry and nutmeg and a jello. Dead spices taste yummy, taste lemon. Dead spices taste gay inside. Ediaji ejedi nkrato ya tu.
Alive soap. Just like how water refreshes you on a hot sunny day, it takes a refreshing bath with Alive soap to feel its pleasant fragrances.
The soap I want and need at the end of every day,
Leaving you with soft, smooth and fresh looking skin.
you make me feel alive, you really brighten my day, my day.
Available in lemon, coconut, rose and aloe vera fragrance. Alive soap. Feel fresh, feel alive.
Herbal Hospital. Specialists in every kind of bone disease.
Herbal Hospital. Baby, a sanya webia. Nanso, yare etimi sapa dom pemu yare.
Spinal cord, swelling of the arms, arthritis, bone injury, swelling of the leg with reddish color around it, and so on. See, Herbal Hospital has special ultra-modern machine for checking up the body. I have tried them and I got good results. Try Herbal Hospital.
Welcome to help.com.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
FC. This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Our stories begin right here, and we never write them alone. There'll be pages we love to read again and again, and some we want to tear out. They are stories of dreamers, stories of creators, stories of strivers, stories of believers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters, APSA.
Yeah, Jamal was in part of Fufona. What in Rahurua, a woman yinki kaya srono edi.
Sham. Emma won sanho nhihyew. Ena epu ehuro nsu yi. Eyi nkekai ankasa.
Oh, I seem to be.
The Jamal washing powder for furnace sachets akese enum aba. Eyi nkekai ankasa.
Anima.
For Jamal washing powder bottle 30. Can you ma ode beji aware?
Jamal.
New Jamal washing powder. Emanya meniti. Ne musu ye hwam. Wo ho kafo a o ma won taade niti. FDA age edwedie nkrato yato mu.
He said you want to ask me some questions.
Yeah, sure.
Why
I would like to ask a few questions.
Yes,
all
please.
right.
Yeah.
So the first question I would like to look at, Paul. I spoke with Randy Abbey.
Yes, I watched the interview.
He was on my show.
I watched it.
You know, he said that he doesn't normally find time to watch your
because
show
he
and
should
all
be
that.
sleeping to wake up the next morning.
How did that make you feel? Do you watch your show?
Oh, I do. I understand. Many people are not. That is why we put our Facebook thing. We work when we close tonight, we'll remain here and put the Facebook because we know that it's late. And the majority of people are starting in the morning. So we understand that the morning people might not be able to watch. So that's okay.
But he said he doesn't follow you at all. I mean, I asked him, you can watch it online and all that. He said he doesn't follow you. Did it make you feel like...
Oh, no, Randy is my brother. I mean, whenever there's something, he calls me and said, did you say this on TV yesterday? Somebody just sent me a video, something like that, and then we talk about it. So
he does follow you in one way or the other.
People send something to him, then he will respond.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
All
yes.
right.
Yeah.
The second question is, you are working with an assumably corrupt boss, and that is Mr. Siao. He's somebody who likes my music. He's asked me to make music for him before, and I did that in the days, and he chose mine from a plethora of others as the number one. Respect.
Yeah.
The Zoom Lion thing, Manasseh Azure had this robbing the assemblies the other day, and it was a documentary that was quite convincing.
Yeah.
Your boss allegedly is paying 180 Ghana cedis to poor street sweepers from the National Youth Employment Program and keeping 420 out of the 600 Ghana cedis that the government gives out to these people working on the street. Your boss, Siao, aka Zoom Lion, allegedly also sold one plastic liner, inside a bin, to Manasseh at 98 pesos, but he sold that to the government of Ghana, the poor taxpayers' money, at 67 Ghana cedis. I don't know if people understand that. There was a contract that was initially signed by Julius Deborah and what's his name? Collins Dowda. I mean, they came together and gave the contract to Siao after they had given the same contract, something like that, to another entity. And they were supposed to supply, I think, about 1,500 or bins. Your boss came in and he was supposed to supply 1 million of those, and he inflated all those figures. I mean, you were the communicator of director of communication for Zoom Lion at the time, right?
I've never been there.
You've never been,
but he's my friend, so
okay.
I go to him with some of these things. And so,
how true is this?
Yeah, he denies most of them, but I can talk about the fees that go to the people because I was worried about that. And his people, the company explained to me that it's not just the fees that go to the people. They take care of their medical, they take care of other things. That is not in the document. So your salary you earn is X amount of money, but you are clothed, you are given your instruments to work, you are picked up to work and taken back home. You have hospital issues, they pay for it and all of that. This is the explanation they give me.
Manasseh said there's nothing like health insurance. There's nothing.
It's not health insurance, but they pay. If you are sick, you go to hospital, they pay for it.
If
you report sick, they pay for it. They are supposed to pay for it.
In his documentary, he said it's not true. They don't pay anything. You could fall sick.
Manasseh and him have been at each other's throats, and I have been in a meeting. I've said it publicly, where Manasseh insisted on meeting him alone, and he said, "No, I have to be there. Robert Coleman has to be there." And the meeting didn't happen. I was concerned that if you're a journalist, you want to meet a supposedly corrupt man you're investigating. That's the last person you want to meet alone. You have to meet him with everybody. But Manasseh says no, he doesn't want to meet him with anybody.
Did Manasseh demand a bribe?
Oh, I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
But I alleged it because I said that I alleged it. That why do you want to meet him alone? Did you want to demand a bribe? I made that allegation because the fact is that he said, I will meet him alone. I was there. Coleman was there. Other people were there. Zoom Lion said, okay, Manasseh, I'm here. Come. He says, no, I want to meet you alone. I said, but how? Did you want to? So that's where the bribe story came from.
So selling one bin liner, the market price is 98 pesos, and selling this at 67 Ghana cedis, just one plastic. Did you investigate it? Was it true? Was
he
Manasseh
denied it
lying?
when I told him, but he didn't just deny it. He went to court, and some of the cases are still in court. He's won some of them at the Supreme Court. He went to court. He sued Manasseh and went to court. And then the other thing, is that when the investigations was conducted by President Mahama, the one that Marietta Brew-Upon presided over, the one that said RLG should pay 52 million to back to the government of Ghana. RLG was a very important person to President Mahama, and so was Zoom Lion, I believe. Now, the report said RLG should pay money. The report cleared Zoom Lion. So, and John Mahama was president. And RLG is very important to him, but they looked at the report, and even though RLG, we all know is important to him, the report said he has to pay. I think he's even still paying. The report said youth in sanitation, there's no problem with it. So then that's how he then sued Manasseh again. So this is the facts of the matter. Okay. But I've heard Manasseh, and I always look at everything he does. I read it, I look at it. I've heard him, and it appears that there seems to be a problem that Manasseh may have with Zoom Lion and his kind of work or something like that. But somehow Zoom Lion wins in court when they go to court.
Do you trust Manasseh and his works?
I think that sometimes he gets used without knowing, because they have seen his appetite against corruption. So I go for a contract, I don't win, you win. I call Manasseh, listen, there is a contract that the government is exaggerating. They know that once they say that, Manasseh will jump to it. And I've been cautioning them that always take your time and check. And always find the interest of the person telling you the story. That's how we're trained. When somebody tells you a story, Gogo Bako will tell you, the person he suspects the most is the first person who told him about the story. So when somebody tells you a story, wait a minute and check. But he doesn't look at the business angle, the business interest, so he just gets railroaded into it. And then at the end, when he's looking for more information, he doesn't get it. For instance, the documentary on the castle security, president had a security at the castle. They knew that he was unhappy with President Akuffo-Addo for one thing or the other. Then they called him and said, look, the president has
militia in the heart of the city.
I mean, how? It was completely off. Then when he went to meet the media commission, he couldn't show it. That the president who controls the armed forces and everybody has a militia. The truth was that this guy, they named him Choman, had some group that he was training there. But they were ushers. They were not militia. They are ushers for programs. And I believe that when the government came to power, he had been working around them for some time. He must have said he wants to do something. And they said, okay, if you can train some young boys, whenever there's an event at conference center, we can use them and we can pay you something. I'm sure that's what it was. So he kept them at the castle and he trains them physically. You know, he's a sort of military guy. So even though they are ushers, young people, come and do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So when you look at that, you will think they are doing militia training. And then again, the evidence was that he took them to a show at the conference center. And they acted as ushers. And he told them that President said, and Manasseh says it's a militia. So the National Media Commission go into the story. There's no militia at the castle.
Do you think that helped bring about these vigilante things around this, kind of organizations and movements?
Oh, it did, until the Commission of Inquiry, where the parties were told to disband the vigilantes. But you see, parties protect themselves, and our politics has degenerated, and I always complain about that. Many years ago, parties didn't feel they needed vigilante. But somebody strikes at you, you are relying on the police. And then you find that, many years ago, I think it was election 2012. And one politician, you know him, I'll mention his name. He had said something on radio. So I called him, I said, now, who is my friend? I said, why did you guys say that? It's Jimmy. So that gave me the sense of we are degenerating, because that means they have been hit and they couldn't rely on the state apparatus to protect them. So they all start vigilante. And it was good that I think we now come round back. We have moved from that. But before 2016, it was a very big deal. MPP head office had this one and all kinds of things. Azoka boys were striking from the top. And then this guy, the Brown Hafo and NPP guy who started his own, Lord Comey and Co. did Action Troopers. Now, Action Troopers is a very interesting name, because it is the name that was used to fight the NLM wars in Kumasi. They are very violent. So once Lord Comey named his group Action Troopers, it connoted what he was about to do.
Vigilante, yes.
And he was doing that because he has also received the hits and he couldn't get the system to respond. So when that committee was set up and Emil Short chaired at the Ayawaso West Wogon, and everything came out and everybody understood what should be the role of the police.
Interesting.
What should be the role of the striking force? It was that committee, we have to thank them, that set the parameters that you cannot have vigilante You have a problem, you go to police. And the police, when they come, make sure that the person to be arrested is arrested.
Were you embarrassed when these vigilante people went to the courts and freed one of their own?
Oh yes, I was very. Okay. And I talked about it. I mean, what is this?
Wow.
Yeah, but it's all the excesses, and I'm hoping that by now we have come around, because people stay. The problem with Ghana, as I've seen, is the winner takes all situation, and I've argued this with IEA and all of them. We have a winner takes all constitution. Until we change that, we're going to be in trouble.
Right.
Because human beings are naturally going to protect themselves first.
Right.
So when a man goes into opposition, he gets nothing. Zero. For 4 years, for 8 years. You can be the best doctor. You can be the best engineer. Once you are known to be NDC, MPP will not give you anything to do.
Interesting.
So it was in this vein that I was completely supportive of the president. One time I went to him, he was writing, he's always writing. I said, Chief, what are you writing? He said, oh, this is going to Parliament. I said, what's going to Parliament? He said, we are going to change this winner takes all thing and make sure that DCs are elected on party lines. NDC will win some, we will win some. When they are in power, we have DCs to run. That way, we can show what we can do. It will be a campaign platform. Young people can come out and then go and occupy these positions. When the mayor of Nungwa is elected by the people of Nungwa,
right,
and the taxi is parked wrong, he knows the vote is coming.
Right.
Right now, the people of Nungwa don't even know his name because he's appointed by the president. So I looked at the president and I said, wow, I don't have any regrets for supporting this man. He has a power to appoint 236 DC. He says, I don't want that power. Take it. Let Ghanaians have it. You want to vote for NDC? Vote for them. You want to vote for MPP? Vote for them. Let's see what happens. He took it to Parliament. Everybody applauded. He went to the final say. Haruna Idrisu, in his concluding statement, congratulated the president for bringing this to Parliament. They passed it. It has to go to a referendum for Ghanaians to vote on it. Then one day, President Mahama thinks, this thing is not good. And I had Grapevine told me that a rumor was that some very clever NDC person went to President Mahama, had a map of Ghana, and said, Chief, look at this map. If this thing goes through, these are the places MPP will win. You see, the red is all MPP. Look at the thing that we are winning. They will come and say that they won the election. Don't allow. This is the partisanship.
I see.
So that's a rumor, though. But the fact is that President Mahama came out against it. The NDC minority changed their position. Even civil society changed their position. I emceed the program at Alisa Hotel. Elvis Efriankra was there. Dr. Kwete was there. Whilst I was MC, I told Dr. Kwete, but Doc, you as IDEC, you had agreed on this matter. Why are you now changing your position? They say that, let us vote, but not on partisan lines. The president says, no, winner takes all must end. That's why America is what it is, and Nigeria is what it is. And Nigeria is a country that has volatility, but has never been to civil war. We suspect because of that. For the longest time that Obasanjo was president, there was a guy called Bola Tinubu, who was running Lagos with the current president. What's his name again?
It's called Tinubu.
Bola Tinubu. With his guy, Bola Tinubu's guy, they'll remind me. The guy who took off, Fashola, thank you. Bola Tinubu was running as Lagos mayor. He's not even on talking terms with Obasanjo.
I see.
Every time there's a Lagos mayor election, Obasanjo presents a candidate, he's defeated. So Bola Tinubu controlled Lagos. When it was time for him to leave after 2 terms, Obasanjo was excited. Brought a candidate, Bola Tinubu, then brought Fashola, anointed Fashola won. The people of Lagos just wanted to resist Obasanjo.
That's right.
And that's what gives Nigeria the stability. In America, Donald Trump couldn't control some states because it is the Democrats have it. They have the governorship. And Akuffo-Addo thought that, look, the first step to break the winner takes all. Let's go for Takoradi mayor. NDC may win, MPP may win. As for who, NDC will always win. As for Kumasi, MPP will always win. In Tamale, it will switch. And NDC can say that, you see what we have done with Tamale South. If you give us the whole country, that's what we've done. Look, you gave them Takoradi, what did they do? And it increases the competition in terms of doing.
Right.
And MPP will worry that you are in Takoradi. Charlie, if you don't do well, we are in trouble. What is happening? That's what he was saying. Suddenly, everybody comes out and says, no, we don't want it. And I looked at it and I said, wow. But the fundamental problem we have is the winner takes all. If we can't shift that winner takes all, when somebody wins power, he gets everything. So we should have encouraged Akuffo-Addo that it's not only DCs that you should appoint. Thank you very much. But can you do another amendment for the IGP one? Let's have a committee, something like that. Let them bring you at least 3 names and you choose one. Let's have a process that doesn't have the president having all the power.
Right.
Let's say, Mr. President, the Chief Justice too, can we look at it? And then we go through these amendments. But I did not understand Ghanaians that a president who we are complaining has too much power. Say, this power, I don't want it anymore. Take it. And then we say, no, take it back.
Did the president say that?
No, but that's the meaning of the thing he sent to Parliament. That Ghanaians should have it. Now the thing failed. It came back to him. He appointed 236. He doesn't even know all of them. No president will know 236. So you are my friend. I call Black Rasta. Charlie Kokumba, they brought me this name, Nabila, and this guy. Who? Then Nabila is your friend. Say, take Nabila. That's what happens. Then the people are. That's why you always hear he couldn't get the 2/3 of the district, because when the president nominates, he has to get 2/3. Some people don't get it. The name comes back and comes back and comes back.
Right.
Why are we going through this? I live in Teshi. The Teshi mayor, Lekma, recently called me that we should meet. I said I'll see him. There was a mayor there called Amate, who was very good. It's NDC, appointed by Mills. I knew him. Amate is one of the best they've had. As soon as 2016 came, he had to go. But if Teshi people were voting, they would have kept Amate.
Kept him, yes.
Yes, but they didn't have the power to do so.
Party lines.
The guy is gone.
Yeah.
You go to the village, some people say, oh, this is our mayor dear. Yeah. They don't have the power. The power is in Jubilee House in Accra.
Yeah.
And the one president comes and says, look, chief, I don't want this power.
Right.
Take it from me. So you have it. So he'll be sitting in Jubilee House. NDC have won Accra mayor. He can't do anything about it.
Yes, I'll get to Nana Akuffo-Addo, but let me just quickly look at this. 1954, there was NLM that you mentioned, and you know all that, Yatianhu and all that. What do you think about that? I mean, you are an Akan, right?
Yes.
They wanted to break
NLM
away
movement
from the rest of Ghana. Yes.
Oh, well, you have to understand the NLM movement. Not that I support them or I don't support them, but I'm just giving the account from their angle.
Yes.
Why they did what they did. They felt at that time that they controlled cocoa.
Yes.
They wanted the resources of cocoa to show in their society. Yes, some of it was showing, but they thought that cocoa money had a big role in gaining Ghana's independence, because with cocoa money, Ghana could manage its own economy. They who own cocoa should be recognized as having brought the cocoa money. If Nkrumah doesn't want to recognize them, then they will make themselves a different country. This was the conversation at the time. And I think I have to admire Nkrumah in the way he managed the NLM process. I mean, that he was concerned that it's not good for Ghana was very interesting. When you read his biography, he has sleepless nights thinking about how to satisfy this NLM people. So that is where regional ministers came from. So they wanted a constitution that was federal, that Ashanti has Ashanti, Western has Western, and all of that. And it was federal. Nkrumah's argument was that it's true that you have cocoa, but if you do this, what will be the future? And I think Nkrumah was justified. Today, the North is finding probably more gold than the Obuasi has.
Yes.
Should we say it's for only the Northerners? This is the point Nkrumah was making. In fact, today, cocoa is in Western region more than in Ashanti. So Nkrumah was saying that you have just discovered yours, no problem. But let's go together. We may all discover some. And let's use this one to help the whole country to discover. And so he said, okay, you want federal, I'll give you a regional minister that you can work with. And this is the compromise that was achieved.
Yes, I'm asking you this because Osafo Maafo was caught on tape saying some time ago that yes, nobody could be president of Ghana or should be president of Ghana until some kind of mineral resource was found in their area, at least where they were born, their origins and all that. And this is a whole...
Hasn't he denied it?
He denied it. He said it was doctor, but he couldn't fool us. I mean, this was your voice. And I was even with Baumia, and he told me that was his voice.
I know, but you see, the old people looked at politics differently, and we have to look at it differently. Even if we take Osafo Mafo's voice,
and he's the advisor to the president.
Even if we take Osafo Mafo's account, today every Ghanaian can run as president because everywhere we've discovered something. Everywhere in Ghana, something has been discovered. Now, if you go to Minerals Commission and they show you the Ghana map, everywhere has something. So even if Osafo Mafo's partisan ways were to be looked at today, yes, every Ghanaian qualifies. But I think Ghana has moved beyond that. And again, I have to give Nkrumah the credit and give some credit to Akuffo-Addo. The boarding school system that he set up at the beginning, the free boarding secondary school that Nkrumah set up, helped significantly to shape us into a united society. So we have other things to coalesce around other than tribe. One of them is church. One of them is old boyism. If you went to T.I. Ahmadiyya and also Bempa went to T.I. Ahmadiyya, you see yourself as brothers.
Yes.
You don't see yourself as a northerner and as a this. Those who went to Adisadel, they see themselves as brothers. So that we have to give credit to the early education people, especially in Nkrumah, who did that, in forcing us to go to school in the way it's being done. The credit I'll give Akuffo-Addo on the same vein is that with free SHS, he has blocked about 40% of the admissions for every top school for those who don't deserve, who could never be there. So your Wesley girls, you have to admit 100, admit 80. Government will give you the other 20. And they bring the other 20 from anywhere and you have to accept them. whether the person got aggregate 32 or whatever. Those who come like that, government is giving you money for you to teach them, give them extra classes. So that way, so there are videos that they will be showing of people, a whole village, nobody has been to Achimota,
Right.
some went to Achimota. So that is the way to develop our society. And I think that once this goes on for a while, we will get the unity question wrong, because Ghanaians are Ghanaians everywhere. Ghanaians are beautiful.
Everywhere.
And every tribe has something. When I was going to get married, I went to a pastor. I asked him that, Chief, what tribe is bad? What tribe is good? So a very important pastor, I don't mention his name, he listened to me and said, okay, there are two things. Every tribe has a culture. So you can have an Ewe man with a Ga culture.
Right.
So you have to decide which culture you don't want. Every tribe has negatives and positives based on how you are cultured. Everybody has it. I said, I don't understand. Then he said, your man. I said, which one? I said, Rollins. He's an Ewe, isn't he? But he has Ga culture. He doesn't have Ewe culture. Rollins is a Ga man, but he's Ewe. So I said, okay. So now let's come back to you. Which culture should I say no to? I said, that's a complicated question. Wow. Because there's good in Ewe culture and bad in Ewe culture. You can't call it bad. There's good and not so good. So you have to decide what you don't want. Some people are very intellectual, but they are lazy at physical work.
Right. For real.
Some are strong at physical work, but lazy at intellectual.
Yeah.
Some are irresponsible with family. They will just throw their money away and go. Some want to take care of family. And so you have to identify what you're looking for. You know, there are two types of women that I identified, I'll tell you about. There's that kind of woman who wants her husband or her man to be interested in women affairs.
Right.
Yes, so they are sitting down watching Ghana's Most Beautiful, which you and I may not naturally watch. That type of woman wants the husband to come and sit with her friends, and they are all watching Ghana's Most Beautiful.
Right.
That's the husband she likes. Another type of woman doesn't want her husband interested in women things. When she's talking about girls things with her friends, husband, go away. So it depends on what you're looking for. So if you hear that fancy men like to mingle a lot with their wives and their wives' friends, you go for fancy. You hear that our men like to be away when their wives' friends are there, you go for that. So we cannot live together in peace.
Do you think Nkrumah was the greatest Ghanaian who ever lived?
I put that question to Professor Ali Mazuri, and the way he answered it convinced me that that's the best answer to that question. He said to me, Captain Nkrumah was a great African, but not such a great Ghanaian. He was a fantastic African, but in terms of Ghana itself, maybe not. Now, I've read all of Nkrumah's books. Now, in his autobiography, he writes that at some point, he wanted to leave Ghana and give it to another person. And he was hoping that Buzia would have understood, because the person he trusted among the opposition was Buzia. He was hoping that Buzia would have understood the African unity that he understands. If Buzia understood it, he would leave Ghana for him and focus on the African unity. And that confirmed to me that Ali Mazuri may have been right, because it got to a point, Nkrumah was over-focused on African unity, and he was relying on people for the management of Ghana. And that's what brought all the problems we had. You know, Ghana could have been fantastic, but Nkrumah knew that Ghana was fantastic, and he was trying to force Ghana's fantastic nature into other African countries. Maybe his American training was part of it, because in America, they teach you that the sky is the limit. In Europe, they teach you that look before you leap, because they are colonialists. Nkrumah should have been aware that Bembela and the Nigerian people and other heads of state, they were all not going to agree. Even though it is true that you are the greatest among them, human beings were not going to. You needed to manage it slowly. But the vision he had, we all hear that it is Nkrumah's template of the African Union that the European Union is using. Its currency and all of that. So that was great. But the little regret is that maybe he should have focused on Ghana differently. My personal regret, when I looked at Nkrumah's age, I nearly cried. I said, oh, so we could have come to meet him. Because by the time he was dying, he was 60. Nkrumah could have been dead till 95. He would have been 92 or something like that. And Bedema was there. We saw Bedema.
Right.
So that we were robbed of being
a great man.
Being able to interview this man in, say, 1990. And say, Osajefo, now look back. Tell us. We didn't get that.
So you don't see Nkrumah as the greatest Ghanaian? Who
Ghanaian?
is? If not him, who?
If not Nkrumah, I think the greatest Ghanaian is John Mensah Saba. I'll explain why. You see what happens in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Kenya, about land. John Mensah Saba was there one day when they brought the land bill across all colonial states, that everywhere the British government has colonial authority, wherever there's land that has not been occupied, that land is for the Queen. And everybody signed up to it. That is why in Zimbabwe they have the problem they're having. So the lands in Zimbabwe are properly for people who took the lease from the queen. If you took the lease from some grandfather in Bulawayo, it is not for him. It's for the, that's why the fight is on. Because how are you going to explain that? The queen sitting in England has the lease more than my grandfather who sits here. But that was the law that we signed to. John Mensah Saba sat down and called other people and said, no, this is very dangerous. This is too dangerous. We can't allow this. I'll go to court in England. Fortunately, he came from a wealthy family. He had gone to school in England. He had been called to the English bar. He said, I can sue in a high court. So he sued in a high court and said, no, there's no land that is ownerless. That's the word they use. There's no land that's ownerless in the Gold Coast. And they asked him why. He said, because by our culture and by our spiritual connection with our ancestors, land in Gold Coast belongs to the living, the dead, and the yet to be born. Or the living, the dead, and yet to be born in our culture are connected spiritually. The court said, wow. So, in Ghana, the land doesn't belong to the queen. That's what saved us. And for that reason, that is what then speeded up our independence.
Do you know what year this was?
1897.
So he saved us in 1897.
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast.
And then out of that, they formed the first political party, the Aborigines' Rights. Out of that came Casely Hayford in the early 1920s during the Gottisbeck era. Casely Hayford then begat Dankwa. Dankwa then begat the movement. The movement brought Kwame Nkrumah, and then independence was achieved.
Right.
So we trace it back to Saba.
So my question is this. I mean, a man who struggled so much and gave us the Gold Coast.
Yes.
Our land back. You remember that when Nkrumah was fighting for the independence and he broke away from the rest of them, people like J.B. Dankwa wanted the Queen to come back and take this country.
Well, that's interesting because it may not be entirely correct. Dankwa has written a letter to Nkrumah, published, which I will show on fund. It's in the book. Professor Dubois wrote a book entitled The Ghanaian Establishment, and he published all the letters Dankwa wrote. Dankwa wrote a letter to Nkrumah in which he outlined this story. And wrote to Cecil Sajefo, you know that by my timetable, independence would have been achieved in 1954. You, Nkrumah, said that we should not lose the British goodwill. It was you, it wasn't me. I wanted independence achieved in 1954. So Dankwa's plan of independence was, as he wrote in the book, like the Sudan, just declare it. Don't tell the British anything, like the Americans did. Just declare. And so he called it the Declaration of Independence in 1954. But Nkrumah said, don't do that. Let's apply to the British Parliament that we are ready for independence. And that's what we did. We applied to the British Parliament. And they gave us independence on 27 September 1956.
Who was going to be the leader for that independence?
The Nkrumah one or the Dankwa one?
The Dankwa one, 54.
He was thinking about himself and his group.
Dankwa?
Yeah, himself and the group that was around him. Casely Hayford, all of those.
So as long as he was going to be the leader, it was okay to declare the independence. But when Nkrumah was going to be the leader now, the British would come and take over the country.
So this 1954, he had planned it in the... You see, he wanted the independence to come on the same date as the bond of 1844.
Yes, right.
That was Dankwa's arrangement of independence. You know, to be fair to the story, when the conversations after Casely Hayford, in those days, they were patriarchal. So Saba is the boss. After that, Casely Hayford. Casely Hayford is going, he annoys Dankwa. So nobody challenges Dankwa. Dankwa is the boss. Dankwa will annoy the next person. Then they were all chieftain people. Dankwa's brother was Ofoyata. So the chieftaincy culture was with us. So it was that kind of thing. So that's why the elders were upset with Nkrumah that he usurped the system and the authority.
Right.
And that's why Nkrumah used the youth and told them that, look, we want independence now. We don't want independence in the shortest possible time.
Right.
We want it now. And then he managed to mobilize the youth. So they were divided by the time. Nkrumah was more popular. So he won the elections in 51. And Nkrumah was popular because he was the general secretary of the party and he was asked to go around and form the party. So everybody knew him. So he was more popular. So he had won elections in 51 with his party. Buzia formed some party. He defeated them in 54. So by 1957, he was almost there. Now, Nkrumah also wanted independence in 57 because he was waiting for the Togoland Congress to make the decision for the Togolese to decide whether they are joining Ghana or not. He was hoping that he would garner more votes from there and he will be elected. So I think Nkrumah was great until the Kulungugu bombing. It's a chicken and egg situation. Who do you blame? Nkrumah felt threatened that the people opened the bomb, and that day he could have died. You know. So if I'm president and I see that my opponents are throwing bomb, I will pass a law that arrests them before they throw the bomb.
Yes.
And
Sure.
that's the PDA. And that's what brought Ghana to its
as
knees.
early as 1957, I mean, people like R.R. and Ponsa and
Yes,
the rest
they
of
were.
them, including the Anglo Youth Organization leader,
yes, all of them.
Modesto, and the rest of them, they were, trying to assassinate Kwame Nkrumah at that
is
time.
true. That
I'm
is
sure
correct.
at the time he was looking at, hey, these people want to kill me and all that and all that. I have to protect myself and protect the land as well.
But when you look at the end of the story,
Yeah.
Black Rasta, Tewi Adamafio, Nkrumah's minister,
Yeah.
Akuffo-Addo, who was
Yes.
one of the senior people,
Yes.
Nkrumah's minister,
Yes. And best friend.
yes,
Yes.
were both tried for trying to kill Nkrumah.
Yes.
They were not opposition members.
Yeah.
Afro-Bedema,
Yes.
the man who won elections for Nkrumah when
Yes.
Nkrumah was in prison,
Yes.
he had to run away from parliament because he
Yeah.
thought Nkrumah was going to kill him.
Yeah, because,
So if you look at the end of the story, Nkrumah was not that big.
You see, Bedema's issue, we can look at it in so many different ways. He started criticizing Nkrumah and saying that Nkrumah was frugal.
He was a finance minister, so
Yes,
he knew it.
He says, yes, the man is blowing money, he's blah, 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 blah. He had his own issues with Nkrumah.
Nkrumah
He
was
had
sending money
move
to
on.
Guinea.
Yes.
And Bedema didn't understand why he should give money to Guinea.
Pan-Africanism.
But it was a lot of money, $200 million pounds at the time.
I mean, Pan-Africanism is supporting other African nations to be able to. Today, we are running to the IMF and demanding more money than what Nkrumah even gave out, and all that. And we say that is cool. But at the time that all these things were happening, we're chasing Nkrumah around, bombing him all over the place until, he ran out. But let me come to Nana Akuffo-Addo.
Yes, please.
He seems to be your hero.
Yes, and I'll tell you why.
Yes, Nana Akuffo-Addo is your hero.
Absolutely.
And that has made you an enemy to a lot of people.
I knew that. Now let me explain
Yes.
to you why. The first time,
Yeah.
I covered the second parliament from 97 to 2000. I don't think we've had a parliament better than that till today. Nana Akuffo-Addo was a member of that parliament. Alban Bagme was a member of that parliament. And I will usually, when he was giving his speech, when he was nominating his ministers, he was a very big name
Right.
by the time we came to do this coverage. And you go to parliament as a small boy journalist. There are 3 people there, he's there. The whole Nana Akuffo-Addo is sitting there, he's writing. When he was introducing Dominic Nitiwul, he told the story, and I reminded him that I know what you're talking about. He said Nitiwul had won a by-election in Bimbela. Mohamed Chambers was going abroad, 2002 or 3. Nitiwul had won a by-election. Akuffo-Addo was already Attorney General. And he said he went to parliament one morning. There were only 5 people there. And he saw this young man come and sit at the back on the MPP side. And then he said that, is that not the guy who won the by-election? He was a very small boy. He said, yeah, it's him. And Nitiwul too said that he was shocked that he entered parliament. They said, oh, the MPs, they don't come, or they'll start coming from midday. And the whole Nana Akuffo-Addo was there. He was already there. So that was one. Then one day we went to parliament, it was a debate, big debate, Tuesday afternoon, big debate. Hackman Osei-Agyemang was after Rawlings. And there was this, Rawlings' relationship with Abacha was under scrutiny. And there was this rumor that Abacha had sent Rawlings $5 million.
Yes.
And Hackman Osei-Agyemang moved a motion in parliament that parliament must discuss the matter. Justice D.F. are one of the best speakers we've had. They don't understand why parliament should discuss rumors in newspapers. So he put the matter to the floor. What do you think? J.H. Osei-Agyemang, who was majority leader for the NDC, said that this is rumors, Mr. Speaker. We are not going to discuss. We don't sit here. Doe Ajaho contributed to the debate. He was then the chief whip, later on speaker. And they all made that point. And it looked like Hackman was under pressure because it made sense that you don't pick a tabloid newspaper and then come and discuss it. So we all thought, hey, today the Hackman is in trouble. Then came the speaker said, okay, Honorable Nana Akuffo-Addo, what do you have to say? And we all wondered, how is he going to defend this position? So Hackman is in trouble. He stood, because he was on Hackman, he stood up and said, Mr. Speaker, the matter before the House is not about whether we should discuss something or no, that's not the matter. So everybody was attentive. He said, the matter before the House is about you, the Speaker. The Speaker said to me, he said, yeah, you. He said, what is it about? He said, you are not a member of this House. You have not been elected. You are not part of this. How do you determine for us what we should discuss and what we shouldn't discuss? Speaker said, okay, I hear you. Do you want to put it to a vote? And then the minority walked out. Of course, you can understand the skirmishes. So I had then started being interested in him. They used to come to Legon and all that. Then he started his mainstream politics. And Black Rasta, I noticed there enormous hatred against Akuffo-Addo.
Wow.
It was massive. And what was it? That his father is rich. His father is president, so he too wants to be president. from everywhere, not the countryside, but the journalists, the influential, everybody was against Akuffo-Addo, that his father is rich. So I said, but look at this Akuffo-Addo man. He has built an image away from his father. He doesn't even have to talk to you about his father. People know Akuffo-Addo William. They don't know Edward, that is president. They don't know it because he has moved away from his father's world, come on the ground, and he has built his own capacity. Still, they won't recognize that. Then I'm friends with all kinds of politicians. 2008 campaign, they bastard. I'm in meetings where they are planning what to go and say. Then I tell them that people I know, I say, but this thing I say, it's not true. They say, oh, it's not true. By the time you people come and say it's not true, we are gone. And they ran this campaign in 2008 and bastardized with lies. They knew it was lies, cocaine. He does this. Everything they said about him in 2008 was not true.
He wasn't doing cocaine.
They said cocaine. And at some point they say he's not a lawyer.
Not marijuana too. You don't know.
No, they say he travels with cocaine. He sends cocaine abroad. He does cocaine business. All kinds of things they said up. And they knew it wasn't true. But they said it. I looked at it and said, hey. And then he lost the election. A large basis of he losing the election was this campaign. Then came 2012. But I believe that Akuffo-Addo won 2008. You know why? Because of Yomo Mafia.
Okay.
You know what Yomo Mafia is? Okay. It is alleged to be a process where during the counting, you put Yomo in your hair.
Yes.
So when they spread the ballot papers on the table, you have Yomo on your hand. So when they are sorting it out, you identify Akuffo-Addo votes and touch it.
Okay. And
the electoral commissioner will say this vote has been touched twice.
Yes, yes.
I told Akuffo-Addo in 2012 that I wanted to move an application to the Supreme Court that all the spoiled ballots should be brought to the Supreme Court. Let's open it one by one and see. So in 2008 election, total number of spoiled ballots, almost 300,000. The highest ever. Akuffo-Addo was looking for 25,000.
And they were all spoiled by Yomo.
I believe so. I think if you pull those ballots and you watch it, you will see that it was the Yomo Mafia that did it. Then came 2012. 2012, we also happened in the Supreme Court. Yeah. So for my money, I believe Akuffo-Addo won 2008 and won 2012.
Really?
And because it was taken away from him, that's why the victory of 16 was the biggest in the history of the Fourth Republic. Yes.
Is he doing
then
well?
He became president.
Yes.
He became president.
Yes.
One thing I admired about him when he was campaigning, when people would come and tell him in the morning in East Legon, where he used to live those days, that then he would get angry. That this attitude about Ghanaians that things are not possible. Why can't we do free SHS? Why can't we do it? Why not? The Europeans can do it, we cannot do it. I mean, he was talking like that every day. And I listened to him as a politician. I said, I support this guy. Then as soon as he won the election, those who had said he would never be president, who were embarrassed by his victory, now started. Oh, he has militia. And I took it upon myself that nobody will say something about Akuffo that's untrue, and I'll let it pass. Okay. And since we have been doing this touchscreen, nobody has come to tell us that we have said anything that's not true.
I see.
They just say that you're a stomach journalist, which is okay. But tell me that the thing I said is not true. Tell me that the analysis I made is wrong. They don't say that. So I will not add that because we need to sanitize our politics. Let's not heap things on people. Let's assess them and say you are incompetent, you are competent. Don't come and say he's doing cocaine when you know that is not true, but you believe Ghanaians will like it.
Has he recognized your efforts?
Oh, because I've been talking to him every day, or usually we talk about, and I go to him, it's always an argument. What has happened? You know, the last time I saw him, we were talking about things in the news. So I believe he knows.
Does he call you sometimes to say, Paul, there's this thing they are saying about me. Can you do something about it?
No, he hasn't called. I go to him and say, Mr. President, this is what they said. I know this story. Is there anything else I need to know? Sometimes he's forgotten. He said, well, this one, talk to the information minister. I think he has something. And then if I need more information, I do that. But he hardly call and say that, do something. I go to him and say, this is what is happening.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Alive soap, alive soap.
Just like how water refreshes you on a hot sunny day, it takes a refreshing bath with Alive soap to feel its pleasant fragrances.
The soap I want and need at the end of every day.
Leaving you with soft, smooth and fresh looking skin.
You make me feel alive, you really brighten my day, my day.
Available in lemon, coconut, rose and aloe vera fragrance. Alive soap. Feel fresh, feel alive.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This offers have been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Customer. Nadabena minka me papa. Me try 10 Ghana.
10 Ghana.
10 Ghana cedis.
No dia. Send now benya.
10 Ghana cedis no. Me dia. 54,000 Ghana cedis.
54,000.
540 million.
Yeah, the one on the camera is Kase.
Yeah. And then I get it now. Now Boki. Draw on assassin. Mami, me volume. Customer. What?
One of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now. Or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth and fresh breath.
I'm a fat missy way.
The Pacho Bantama.
Matias. It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Jidi said we use Kel 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Kel 360 toothpaste.
Gaskia, Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim Jom Kasan. Kile Hossein. Kel 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
And you will see so feeling to when you know Kel 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Kel 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Did you lobby for your position at the airport?
Oh, yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
With Nana Akuffo-Addo?
Yes, with him and with other people, because I looked at, when COVID came, I did some PR work for the COVID process. And then I got very interested. And I saw that there's a lot that can happen at the airport. You see, people think the airport is an aviation job. It's not an aviation, it's a marketing job. The Ghana Airport Company is a marketing company. It's not an aviation. Ghana Civil Aviation Authority is an aviation company. Ghana Airport Company is a marketing company. That's why if you look at all those who have led it, Dorin Osufianku who led it NDC time, is a marketing manager for Ghana Airways. Charles Asare, who was MD John Mahama time, is EcoBank MD, and he's a marketing person. So people were confused that you don't know anything about, are you a pilot, and they put you at aviation? Yes, so I lobbied for it. I told them I'm interested in the airport job. If there's an opportunity, I'm very interested.
Were you embarrassed at the Christmas tree saga, the scandal?
I can tell you that in some detail now.
Yeah.
So when I walked into the meeting, and I've been to Shraj, I was quite upset with the Shraj guy, because when I went to Shraj, I told him, Mr. Shraj, I want to film this process. I want to film it. He said no. Because I have nothing to hide. I didn't want to finish and as the report came, somebody holds one part of the report, let us put it on video and show it. He said no. So I walked into a meeting. I said, what's happening here? They said, oh, we are discussing what we do with Christmas. The amount of money they told me they were going to spend, I said, no, you can't spend that amount of money. This is where the story is coming from. But again, with Ghana, the lie becomes truth and truth is buried. I said, you can't spend this amount of money on Christmas. You can't. They said, well, there's no. I said, no. Call the sponsors, those who work here, those who do billboard, call them for a meeting. I want to sit in a meeting. Then I went into the meeting. I said, okay, people do all these things. Can't you pay for the Christmas thing? They said, oh, we can pay some, but it's late. You are telling us very late. I said, yes, okay. That's the first time it was sponsored. And I'm guessing that people who benefit from this one way or the other were unhappy with the process. So quickly he went to media. Hey, he's going to buy Christmas trees. But what I wanted to do was that the company cannot spend money as a marketing company when you have given people billboard opportunity. So they brought a check. And I was lucky because I told them, pay the check directly to the vendors. So when I went to Shraj, the issue of procurement didn't arise because the money didn't come to GACL. It went straight across. But it's a cross I carry, so I don't mind.
Do you think the cost of the Christmas tree was so high?
No, it wasn't, because if you look at what Christmas trees cost around at the time, and how many we got, and the fact that we got somebody to sponsor it free. That's why I made the point that Christmas tree inspirations for 2020 is the cheapest since the history of the airport. And that's a fact. I made that point. Nobody wants to see it. But I made the point firmly that this year is the cheapest. It's cheaper than the year before. It's cheaper than the year before. Because we got somebody to pay for some of it.
Did you suffer some punishment?
I hadn't done anything wrong. The only thing I did wrong was media people talking. But we went to Shraj, and Shraj gave his verdict that I didn't do anything wrong.
So there was no punishment? You were not
I haven't done anything wrong. So
attending meetings or,
But the report of Shraj exonerated me clearly. So there's nothing to do.
I see. I'm going to ask the very last one, and
yes,
I think
please.
that I'll be done. Thanks so much. I mean, for answering. Nana Akuffo-Addo.
Yes.
Kwame Nkrumah.
Yes.
Who would you put your finger on?
Because they lived in different eras, and I have known Nana Akuffo-Addo much better than I didn't meet Kwame Nkrumah. I just read his books.
Looking at the achievements.
Achievements?
Yes.
Well, I hear MPP talk something about the road construction has been doing
yes,
and
that's
all that.
Why I'm asking you this.
Nkrumah was there longer. Nkrumah was there from 1951 to 1966.
Yes.
So it's really difficult to make a comparison. Nkrumah inherited a great economy, enough money. He has so much money he could give Guinea some. So again, you cannot then judge Nkrumah with the rest. But I think Nkrumah was a great African. I mean, I'll say that. In terms of the Fourth Republic, though, it might be too early to say, but Akuffo-Addo will stand tall among the Fourth Republican presidents if we have to come and make a comparison.
All of them?
Among all of them, yes, because of the fundamental things he has been able to do. For instance, the story of one district, one factory. They accuse him that you came and said you were going to do one district, one factory. How many have you done? I interviewed Samuel Kudjeto Ablakwa in 2020, and he said, oh, your man, he's done only 8 factories. And I looked at this politician. You were in power, you did 0 factory. Somebody says, I'll do 100 and is able to do 8, and you are criticizing him. And that's what is happening in this campaign. They are criticizing Akuffo-Addo that you said you will do 200 factories. How many have you done?
Shouldn't we?
No.
I mean, if you have given us your word that this is what you're going to do, and based on that, we voted into power, and then we perform.
There's another thing I want to say. Anyone who cannot criticize Akuffo-Addo between 2017 and 2020 should hold his peace. Because that is where Akuffo-Addo needs to be judged. No, even in 2020's campaign, President Mahama didn't talk about economic situation. He couldn't because there was none. It was COVID. Akuffo-Addo took over in 2017 to 2020. There was no crisis anywhere in the world. There was nothing. Let's judge him at that time. But if you come and judge him from 2021, 22, 23, which government in the world will pass 2021, 22, 23? Nobody will pass.
Well, there were a number of, I mean, Australia did so well with this COVID thing.
Isolated cases. The big names we know, everybody was struggling because Russia and Ukraine war came, this came. So Judging Akuffo-Addo in that situation might not be fair. Judge him 17 to 20. Let's see. What did he do wrong? Did he do the factories? Did he do the free SHS? Did Ghana move on? Did he stabilize the currency at that time? The answer will all be yes. And I've been saying that people don't like it.
Did he do the free SHS?
Yes, he did. He's still doing it. As far as 2017, 2020, he did it. Except that he started slowly. Year 1, year 2, year 3.
So what kind of free SHS is this that students go to school for 1 day and they go and sit home for another 100 days? They go back in there, they come back in there. We are hearing promises of laptops and all that that are not happening. What kind of...
The laptop may happen, but that problem about students come home and go, whilst they are turning it around now, it is also part of Akuffo-Addo's big appetite to take every Ghanaian along. That's what brought the problem. Because before then, every year, at least 150,000 people don't go. Now he said free. Now there are many examples of people who had stopped school and went back, and they were given a leeway to go back and continue. People were housemaids, people were drivers. They said, oh, they say free SHS, so I got admission in Peters. I couldn't pay, now I'm going. There are so many of those people. So it is the policy and the president's appetite that let's take every Ghanaian along.
Right.
And that's what brought that problem. And they are solving the problem. The amount of infrastructure that have been built in schools is significant. And we will come back over time to say that Akuffo-Addo was right. For me, and I'm writing a book, I'll be launching this soon.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
On the 66 stories that shaped Ghana's Fourth Republic.
Wow.
We're doing it very busily. Even tonight we'll be writing. Yes. So when I come, I'll be able to say that one of the things that delighted me most as a journalist, a political journalist, was to see the eventual victory of Akuffo-Addo and to see his 2 term in office. That's what delighted me most. From my time as a reporter in 97, watching him in parliament and looking at his political career, the thing that delighted me the most was that the man that they said he can never be president won the biggest victory ever, because they were stealing his votes and then they say he cannot be president. Then they steal his votes, then they say he cannot be president. The day that they couldn't steal the votes, all Ghanaians saw the record.
I see.
And now they've started again, heaping against him. His government has failed. His government has failed. Akuffo-Addo's that's the propaganda. And I'm going to tear into it again. I'm waiting for the facts. This is Akuffo-Addo's 8-year term. This is how many rows he met. This is how many rows he's going with. This is how many schools he met. This is how many hospitals he met. And when we do that analysis, I believe that everyone will see.
We'll be looking forward to that. But yes. If Nana Akuffo-Addo did so well, according to what you said, why is he so unpopular? He's falling out with so many different people. Yaho Tamaklo, Hobson Adoye, and all those wonderful people. Do you think that they have been vindictive, or he's just performed?
It's just part of it. I mean, Bedema fell out with Nkrumah.
Yes.
Doesn't mean Joshua Nkomo fell out with Robert Mugabe.
Yes.
People falling out doesn't mean that the president didn't do it. I think right now there's hardship in Ghana. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. And naturally, Akuffo-Addo will be made to bear the brunt of it.
Yeah.
But if you look at 2017 to 2020, when there was no hardship, it was clear that Akuffo-Addo's leadership and the dynamism of his leadership had been great. I mean, there are a few things that Akuffo-Addo did that I didn't expect. He had 120 ministers. I went to him and he was there. I said, Chief. He said, yeah, fella, how are we doing? I said, we are doing good. But 120 ministers, I said, yeah, we do. And then we had an interaction. He said that he's going to go on GTV and explain it. And he did. He went on GTV and he spoke about it. That's one thing that we spoke about. Now he's reduced the number of ministers. Akuffo-Addo will finish his tenure in office. He's not a perfect man. No man is perfect. But at the end of the day, we will see that he has stood true to the politics, the same politics that he did in 75, the same politics that has carried him to today. I believe that. 2 more
quick, questions. If Akuffo-Addo was to stand for the next election, do you think he would win?
It will be. The third term is always difficult. And given the economic situation, I mean, if I ask you that if J.J. Rawlings had stood in 2000, would he have won? The answer would have been no. But if J.J. Rawlings had stood in 2008, he may have won. If I ask you that if John Kufuor ran elections in 2008, would he have won? The answer would be a big no. But if Kufuor stands elections today, he will win. Because it's always after the fact that we sit down and look at it. So that's my answer to that.
Do you think there was a relationship between Sewa Bruni and the president? Was there anything like that? By your
the lady
investigations
that they brought I saw the photographs.
Some photographs.
Yes, I saw her in a photograph in the company of the president. So I'm sure that they knew each other. I think I saw in a photograph of the president there. The chief of staff was there. Minister for Agric was there. I saw that photograph.
Did you ask him if there was any?
No, I didn't. I rather asked the people around him. And they said that the matter is being resolved. So
being resolved.
Yes.
Okay.
At that time, I called and said, hey, what is happening? They said, it's being resolved.
What's your most disappointing episode about Nana Akuffo-Addo? Episode in the sense of what has Nana Akuffo-Addo done that you will say this was the most disappointing for you?
Disappointing?
That's the last one.
I mean, that the Black Stars were not able to do well in the World Cup, I think was very... I saw him, I think he was in England, after we beat South Korea. And he was in very high spirit that day. I saw he was in London. I went to him and said, so we are going there. We could win the next game, we qualify. He was very excited. And after the next game, I couldn't look for him anymore. I think that was very, very disappointing. In terms of policy, I have to study it. And I think there's a few more things coming. The biggest disappointment, though, is that his amendment to the constitution that he proposed, that we should elect our mayors on partisan lines, that because of partisanship, it was defeated. That one is very painful.
Very painful.
Yeah.
I'm asking about what he did, and you think this was the most disappointing.
I have to look for some of it.
Everything was correct?
No, I can't say everything was correct. I mean, I saw him in the interaction with when he was asking some chief to stand up. Yes. That one. I ran there. I said, hey, what is happening at the chief? They said that guy does that all the time. Yes. He doesn't want to stand up for that. I said, really? But how did he I think I asked the original minister. Because it was him that he was talking to. I said, you speak a bit of Ghana?
No, not at all.
Oh, sorry. I spoke in Ghana. I said, that is to say, how did the old man know that the guy hasn't stood up? And he said, the old man is watching everything every day. So he saw it. Eventually, when the guy came to apologize and said he was unwell, it made me more, But if the guy had come to say another story, I would have thought that maybe the president shouldn't have. But when the guy came and said he's sorry about it, he was unwell.
Do you condone corruption sometimes? Looking at Kwesi Nyantakyi's issue, we saw him on tape talking about how he was so influential. He had the president in his pocket and so on and so forth, and how he was boasting and all that. Anas's lens caught this man. But I heard you and I felt so disappointed that you seem to be condoning corruption and wrongdoing when you said that, well, you look at what Anas has done. Now our football has gone down, and all that.
That's a good question. Now, as soon as the story comes, I am true to my profession. I went to Kwesi Nyantakyi straight. Chief, what is the story? Then I went to Kisi Ajabin, who is Anas's lawyer. Samida Akotobi, what is the story from your angle? They gave me the angles. I looked at it. Kwesi Nyantakyi told me that, and I knew the guy. I had met the guy at Alisa Hotel, the RFA president in Northern Region.
Right.
He said, the guy you came to meet with me, yes. Because Kwesi was my personal friend, so I used to go and see him at Lisa Hotel. He likes to watch his Champions League games there, so I'll go and sit with him. He says, the guy, you know him. The guy, it was him who came to tell me that they found some businessman in Abu Dhabi who wants to sponsor the local league. And I used to bombard Kwesi, whatever you achieve, if the local league doesn't work, it's not going anywhere. Not just me. We meet and Lisa, Sickins, all the football people, they'll come and be kicking him, go and do the local league and stop this, your Black Stars. And Kwesi is a normal person like that. So he said, so because all of you have been shouting on me every day, I said, is this sure you can sponsor local league? Oh, then I'll go and see him. He went the first time, they said the guy is not ready. He went the second time, they said the guy is not ready. The third time, he went with Liberian President George Oponwe, who was his friend. He was running campaign and said, oh, there's some rich man in Abu Dhabi who can sponsor local league. You're a footballer. Let's go and see whether he can support your campaign small. He went with George Weah. The guy was not available. Then one day he went, the guy was available. Then he asked the guy, in the beginning of the conversation, oh, we are sorry. You have come so many times, you didn't see us. How much did you spend on your transport? He said the plane fare. So I bought plane for George Oponwe, for myself and all that. All that together is a certain amount of money. He mentioned it. Then the guy gave him the money that this is your transport. That's it. Anas knows this. And this is the video Anas captured with Kwesi taking the money and putting it in a rubber bag. He was told it's transport. For the plane fare the money you have spent. And that didn't come in Anas's video. He edits that out. Then he shows that Kwesi Nyantakyi is collecting bribe money.
Yes.
Now, if you are going to sponsor a league for $100-something million, is $40,000 the bribe money that GFA president will collect if it's bribe money? So when Kwesi told me, I got offended. I said, what kind of thing is this? When a Ghanaian is moving, then we have to push him down. When I asked Kwesi that genuinely, who do you think was behind it? He said, oh, it's the FA people. Because they knew I was going to win the election again. And Kwesi had been there for long and I was still winning. They knew I was going to win the election again. They didn't want me. They didn't want blue. And so they did this investigation and he named the people that he suspected were behind it.
But I watched the video too, and I didn't hear Anas say in the video that it was bribe money. We all heard him say, oh, this is a gift. This is it. But what Kwesi Nyantakyi said, I have the president in my pocket.
He didn't quite say that.
You know, well, recently he said he didn't say that.
He didn't say that. But I watched the video at the conference center. He didn't say that. He said that they have to pay people. So after they discussed the football, then the man said he's interested in business. Whether Kwesi can help him. He said, oh, me, I can, but not much. The people I know, then he mentioned the names.
Pay them bribes so they can shut up like Ken.
Well, he said the people I know, one of them is Kennedy Japan.
Yeah, pay him.
He's
he
very loud.
So much. He's loud.
So you have to see him.
That's right.
Then you have to see this other person. Then you have to see this other person. If you want to do business, these are people you have to see.
And who control the whole Ghana. And there was money laundering.
Let me explain to you why saying that it's bribe may be far-fetched. In America, they have organizations that are lobbying organizations. We don't have that here. So they form lobbying organizations. So if you're going to do business in America, they'll tell you which lobby group are you choosing. Are you choosing Ronald Reagan Association? Are you choosing that? They are a lobby group. You pay them money for them to work out how your bill will go through the system. The money is used for experts to look at the bill properly as you are drafting it, to look at it, some lawyers, all of that. But you pay them also their fees. And all of that is put together. In Ghana, we don't have that. Professor Michael Quay, the former speaker, and I discussed this extensively. It was on the back of that we passed the private members bill. Okwe moved the private members bill so that we can create lobbying organizations. So we can now go and lobby that they have to pass a bill that if you don't take your baller in 2 days, this will happen. So because we don't have that, when it comes to do business in Ghana, you have to deal with individuals who are influential. I think that's what Kwesi was addressing. To suggest that that is some big corruption.
Well, lobbying is very different from paying him to shut up.
Well,
you see, lobbying
is just a matter of words. Kennedy Japan is influential, so make sure that you are in his good offices. Make sure you are in his good quarters.
Yes.
When people are nominated for parliamentary ministerial positions, some of them go to Kennedy Japan's house.
For real.
That chief, I'm coming to parliament, I beg you, you have to manage. Is that, I don't know if that's corruption, I don't know, but to think that that is some high crime for which reason somebody should be hanged, I'm not too sure about that.
But I think otherwise. Finally, I mean, this is the final.
Final.
Paul, do you have a diplomatic passport?
Oh, no, certainly not.
Okay, that's all. I'm done.
They said I have a diplomatic passport?
No, nobody said it. I'm just asking.
Okay. All right, let's hear the text messages and then we wrap up. What are people saying?
Okay. I think people are enjoying the show. Derek says, I can listen to Paul all day and night. The most brilliant journalist to have ever appeared on TV. Wow. Listen to his arguments, analyze his reasons. Any objective fellow will be convinced. Top guy by any measure. Now, Benedanza says, thumbs up, Paul. I believe Black Rasta is beginning to have a change of attitude towards President Akuffo-Addo. Ken also says, what an educative program, knowledge, talking and listening, watching from UK. And lastly, coming from Kwabna, he says, great interview of all times, Black Rasta and Paul Adomachi, history lessons, watching you live from UK. Now, from our sponsors, Blue Jeans Energy Drink. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it is and what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried, and it is indeed the best. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for bold and active men and women, so go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact 0208 128 190 or 055 001 000. What do you have for us?
Okay, so we have Kwame Nyankamako saying, Paul, you are an amazing journalist. You are a gem. We have Philip saying, fantastic show tonight. We have Louis Ayesu saying, this is a night to be proud of. Viewers of Good Evening Ghana Official. Our host is the best in the whole of Ghana. We have Kwame Dente saying, this answer Paul gave about lobbying for the job has made me respect him even more. And then lastly from Scott Issel, he's saying, because he knew more about what he's talking about, are you not surprised he has allowed himself for a fellow journalist to interview him on his show? This is confident. Okay, Ella?
All right. Just like Fatih said, there's a lot of commotion about the interview because everybody seems to be very interested. So this is from Scott. He says, I now understand why most journalists hate you. Look at a brilliant and educative submission. Wow, Paul, you are really a gift of nature, right? This one is also from Michael Finn. He says, this particular aspect of your program has made my day. Thumbs up to everyone. This one is from Afifa. He says, Paul Adom Ocho is too learned. He can answer any question, too smart and too intelligent. Now, the rest of them are a series of compliments for both Mr. Rasta and for himself. These are greatest interview ever, both from the host and the interviewer. This one says, this is so refreshing. Another one from Yawa says, excellent answers. And this one is from Howard. He says, great show as usual. Now, from our sponsors. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infinity stands in our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in and out. Worry no more, because portable American numeric vacuum elevators, your elevators are a sure way to enjoy unlimited access to your mansions and homes. There's a simple-to-use self-supported elevator for vertical movements of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility to choose from. You may call it luxury, but it is a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home or office. It is affordable and can be installed within 3 days with modification to your building. Visit Lifts and Elevators Ghana at Sakumono for your solutions and free consultations. Or call us now on 0200 535 515. 0200 535 515. Paul, back to you.
All right, Black Rasta. So we finished the first leg. I have to come over.
Yes, in fact, I'm looking forward to having you on 3FM. Yes,
why not?
Thank you so much.
Let's put it sometime in June, maybe after June 4th.
Wow, that would be nice.
I'll come.
Thank you so much.
With it. So please, when you go to vote in December, vote for Mahamadou Bawumia. Thank you, Black Rasta, for coming. Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers. It's been a great show. That was Black Rasta. I'll be visiting him, so look out for that. When you see the flyer, tune in that day. 3FM, I'll be there. And then, you know the way he bounces on his chair? Yeah. That day, I'll sit on the chair, I'll bounce. Viewers, thank you so much for watching. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Yo, Rasta, when we see some black man say more turn American president, them think say them a go skin them teeth and watch him. Yeah.
Mama, come make we talk about Barack Obama. Papa, come make we talk about Barack Obama. Barack Obama.
Yo, hear me now? Originally stepping out of Kenya, Africa, adopted into the cold woodlands of America. Trust me, them you defy every order and turn senator. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, the gunshot of 8 continent of echo in every corner. How come black man become president in a money maker? Barack beware, Barack beware, Barack beware. Before them turn your name into Barack.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Mene kwaku owusu ajay pato abrasamandu katawire woso brobo mensa kwaku abridi abrada sumaya echimpani echimofra ere agene be kasa problem e wo nyina ne say yetimi wo say problem wo manum na ye problems ne nkonfo de ye business enti da bia kwan on person we ne say on person problems ne ka ho na ma wadwe nya o say ye betena be keka nsam e be ma otirimu aye ode de hia be bo my Ghana ho nkomo ene e ba be die ya bre obi aba no aba be kan de obi aba no aba be kan de ere de nya sa de be ni bi o ye ni abere ya beka ne sɛ de sitie bia ama wate ne sɛ de sitie me kura de minanka de send the bluetooth bia ma obroni be say no matter whose ox is god ya beka ho asɛm djuma de efri awia no me no kopum sɛ be bono nsia agene kasa on original 91.9 FM aha ye nyansa fi
lovers, join me every week as we embark on a flavor-filled adventure with special guests from different African countries.
Today I'm bringing the taste of Egypt to your kitchen.
Without the garlic, we cannot
No, nobody can eat this one.
I bet I'm eating this alone.
Hello, prepare your taste buds. I'm taking you to Guinea. I brought you fur de manioc.
Fur de manioc.
Oui, allez laver les mains.
I know February, we are obviously bringing the crown home.
Okay, I was a little nervous, but it went well.
So, I would say it was the best experience.
And of course, Match is going to win. Like, hello.
It's another brand new season of Bukwem Accra, Bukwem Ashanti, and Bukwem Volta, Ghana.